Welcome, guys, to my Traitors Canada Season 1, Episode 7, 8, and 9 recap. Welcome back, guys. I know we've been gone for a while. Um, Lots of stuff happened. And first of all, I need a new computer. This was just, the phone thing wasn't working. Like, I had to put in headphones in order to talk. It wasn't a good look for a while. And then we have lives. Hello. But welcome back, guys, to our recap. We are catching up on this season because tomorrow night is the finale. And so we wanted to come chit chat, catch up, talk about the devastating, absolutely devastating exit that we had, episode 8, and just go into this finale so you guys know our thoughts. And then we'll come back sometime this week, hopefully, to discuss the finale. I think we're both hoping a certain thing happens in the finale, but till we get there, let us discuss. Let us discuss.
Yep.
I am joined tonight with my friend here, Janelle Michaud. Janelle, how are you?
Good. I'm excited to get all caught up, talk about all these episodes, our feelings, our thoughts, and our hopes for the finale.
Yes,
Yeah.
big hopes because, ooh, I tell you, oh, I need. I'm still annoyed. It took me a while to watch episode 8. I'm gonna tell the truth, guys.
Yeah.
It was devastating. It was devastating. Um, it was devastating. That's all I can say. But we do start off with episode 7, which we hadn't recapped, and we're gonna kind of blow through some of this, but at the beginning of the episode, we do see that Kuzi and Mike decide to murder Mary.
Yes.
Which so remember we had 3 people on death row.
Right.
Mary, Melissa, Kevin. Kevin the night before was banished because he turned on Kuzi.
Stupid.
And if he hadn't turned on Kuzi, I just kind of wonder what would have been. But he did turn on Kuzi. She did end up having to vote him out and throw him under the bus. It was sad. And then that when you have 3 people on death row, if someone is banished, you still need to murder one of the 2 people that is left on death row.
Yeah.
And so at the end of it, it was Mary and Melissa who were still left to be murdered on death row. And so they did murder Mary. And I think I've mentioned this before. Mary had given up, guys. She said it in her exit press. She'd given up. I think she said she went around to others and was like, yeah, if you're a traitor, just vote me out. If you're a traitor, just murder me. Like, I want to go home to my daughter. And I feel bad, but this game is hard, and I get it. And I think at some point towards the middle of this, it just all getting so emotional. We see it here. I think this is the most emotional episode with Mary, Melissa, Trayvon, Kuzi. Like, even Kuzi gets upset because while the people pointing the fingers were correct, the reasoning that they were pointing the fingers were lies. And so I get that. It's like, come at me for my gameplay. Come at me with the truth. Don't make up stuff just to get me out. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Catch me if you can. I can appreciate you catching me. Like we see it in episode 8. She appreciates the catch me. Come and get me. Now is the time for you to come and get me. But don't come and get me with made up bullshit. Right? And so we do see that at the end of the day, everybody's still on this red theory. Somebody had to be on the red team and have this stupid shield and
they've been stuck on that red team theory for so long, and I'm just like, think outside this team crap. Like, I don't know why, but then again, there's just, like I've always said about this show, there's just not a lot to go off of, so you get hyper fixated on one thing, and these people have not been able to get off of it at all, like, not in the least bit.
And then on the other side, they felt like Kevin had thrown out Kuzi's name, had thrown out Mike's name, and so
Mhm.
thus they felt like like Kuzi or Mike could be the traitor. Those
Yeah.
are the two people that he suspected. And I think also that's kind of what they were using. But we know that Mike wasn't on red team. Kuzi was. So
Right.
it was either Kuzi or Mary, and Mary was murdered.
Yep.
So for them, it kind of came down to that's what we needed to do. So it was unfortunate because I really do feel like if we hadn't gotten there with Kevin, maybe things would have rolled along a little differently. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. So the mission for this episode was the barrel roll, which we have again seen in other fractions of the Traitors. So we saw
Yeah.
it in UK, we saw it in USA. I can't remember if we saw it in Australia, but we might have. And so it's there's different sizes of barrels, huge ones, small ones, medium sized ones. They all have
Shield
a
ones.
yeah, they all have
Shield
like
ones.
a value attached to it, or there could be a barrel with a potential to get into the armory, right? To get a shield so that you're not murdered. And so we saw in the USA that like it was a big deal that they, some people really wanted that shield so that they were murdered because they knew that they were on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Um, and here we see a lot of people are really, really, really into, trying to get this money. And it starts coming into a whole big thing where people get upset because someone like Kuzi is walking around with small barrels and not pushing the huge barrels, and gets into it with May because she insists that Kuzi needed to share the wealth, I guess. And
I think she wanted to roll bigger barrels or like take a turn rolling a bigger one instead of
right,
carrying the little ones. Yeah.
right. And so while nobody was trying to really get a armory barrel, really, it seemed like the money barrels even were causing problems in this. And
Hmm.
um May and Kuzi kind of get into it. But we see Leroy and Mickey just like pushing through. Leroy really, really kind of he got them out there, right?
Hmm.
Um and so at the end of the day, they did, let's see, what does it say? So at the end of the day, they were able to get a bunch of barrels over the finish line, and they made 10,500 out of 21,000, and they were not able to access the armory because nobody brought an armory belt over, so nobody got a shield for that mission. What did you think of the mission? So I know you haven't watched the other versions of Traitors.
I liked it. I liked that they really had to work. I liked that there was the temptation of the shield, but I think it would really tick people off if somebody went for the shield and was not rolling money. But I like
Yeah,
this one, and especially the shield part of it. I
yeah,
like that
that's
it
kind of
caused
what happened.
tension. Oh, sorry. I like that
No,
it caused tension and
mhm.
drama and fighting, brought up some stuff. So I liked it.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened in the USA. In the USA version, people were trying to, because they felt like they were on the chopping block. They kind of were like trying to hold on to the armory barrels, and I
Hmm.
think the armory barrels were like huge. They were big,
Yeah.
and so trying to get them over the finish line so that they would not get murdered, and people were upset at that. So I didn't quite understand May being upset because Kuzi's holding on to money, because
Right.
I didn't feel like May was pushing any huge barrels personally, but maybe I missed it.
They were okay. I think she was just tired and wanted a break. And she has this tiff with Kuzi.
Oh,
I don't think Kuzi can do any right in my eyes. Those two are oil and water.
yeah, we will talk about that because she said some stuff on social media that I was just like,
Did she
Mm,
really?
oh yeah, so we'll get to it next episode. Yeah, we'll get to it next episode.
Like, am I gonna
Um,
hate her?
yeah,
Oh, ooh, buddy. Okay.
yeah. Like, I mean, it really is coming from a place of saltiness, but I feel like she's been that way since the beginning with Kuzi.
Yeah, I was about to say. I've always like she has this. I don't know. And to me, it's only with Kuzi.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like oil and water, those two. And I
Hmm.
think she. Let me. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the episode because I'll go down a tangent.
So we do see that before the banishment, they call and all discuss who they think the traitors are. And Mai is insisting that it's Kuzi.
Hmm.
But she tells Mike that Kuzi told her that she thinks it's Mike.
Right.
And that never happened.
Right. According to
And,
what we know, right.
yeah, and so I was sitting there listening to conversation. I was like, she never said that. Not to
Also,
Mike.
they didn't talk.
So I was like, so she's just, I was like, wow, so she's just come to the point of the game where she just wants to make up shit to get people out.
I
That's
mean,
who we are.
I would, but I would if I felt like it's gonna get me closer to my goal. I'm a lie. I don't knock her for lying. Like, do what you got to do, or do whatever you feel you need to do. It's just funny because it don't work out for her.
But also, her whole thing is she's playing this honest game. She can't be
True.
manipulated. This is why you don't play that type of game. Because if you're gonna lie, then I'm gonna look at you.
Right. Yes. Miss Honesty, Miss Loyalty. I don't know why people bring up that mess in these types of games when it's about lying and deceit. Somebody's a traitor. You have traitors amongst you.
Like, what is the definition of a traitor? Let's look
Right.
up the. You came on a show that's named Traitors.
Right.
So let's look up the definition because it's going to come to the point where I what I'm talking about may because very much so a person who betrays a friend, country, principle,
Yep.
a backstabber, a betrayer.
Right.
That is the point of this show.
Well,
Someone,
maybe she's.
multiple someones are betrayers.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Ah,
she's just trying to ride home the fact that she's indeed a faithful because she's not doing any of those things. But if you're lying to make up a narrative towards your target that you believe to be a traitor, that's no different. You're no different. So we can get off this morality train. Those do not belong, as far as the game goes, do not belong in this game.
yeah, not
No,
this game. It's
no,
other games you can maybe, like Love Island. Like you like could be deceitful on a show called Love Island, where again, keyword is love.
right.
No. This show?
Go ahead, go for it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so we do also see that Melissa also tells Mike, oh yeah, Kuzi's been throwing your name under the bus.
Yeah, she was adamant. And I want to know, like, what conversation did we not see?
No,
I want
because
to
the
know,
conversation we saw, you remember the conversation that we did see, right?
right?
I
Yes.
don't feel like Kuzi was throwing him under the bus
Me
in that
neither. I
conversation.
don't know how she took away, like, came to that conclusion.
Right. And so I was like, okay, so are you lying too? Or did we miss a part of the conversation? Now, with Melissa actually had a conversation.
As
So
much as
I'm gonna at
Susie.
least give that to her.
What? Say that again. I'm sorry.
Melissa actually had a conversation, right? So I'm gonna
Right.
actually give
Yes.
that to her.
Yeah. My spilling all this secondhand knowledge, acting like it's firsthand knowledge.
Right.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, Melissa had a conversation. I don't feel like that's the conversation. That's what the conversation portrayed.
Right.
But maybe I missed a part of the conversation. It was a little more forceful that Kuzi thought it was Mike. I
Yeah.
wish Kuzi had pointed it towards Mike
Oh, hell
at
yeah.
this point. But yeah, I was so confused. And so then they tell this to Mike. Mike confronts Kuzi And
Hmm.
Kuzi's like, they're lying.
It's
I like,
rubbish. I love when she says rubbish. Are they giving you rubbish?
yeah. She's like, he's like, or she's like, are they trying to pit us against each other?
Right. Yep.
And
Well,
so,
unknowingly, yep.
at the end of the day, Mike starts suspecting that Kuzi is throwing him under the bus.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like that's what she was doing. What she was doing was
No.
not pushing, doing what he didn't do with Melissa A, which was not pushing the narrative that it couldn't be Mike at all, so that
Right.
the eyes start looking at me because I was basically defending you to the hilt.
Right. You can't do that in these games because why do you care? What do you care? If you know what I mean? So if you start doing that, you look suspicious. Yeah, it's a like a very touchy situation with how you are willing to throw somebody under the bus or say their name. She's
Right.
very careful with his name. That's how she's been all game, unfortunately. Right.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Very careful with his name and obviously continue to try to protect him every
Yes.
week. Yeah,
Every week
unfortunate.
until she couldn't.
Right.
And I do love her little clue that she left. So it is brought up at the round table. Basically, Mike confronts Kuzi about saying his name.
Hmm.
And she's like, who was supposedly I said your name to? And he said, well, Mai told me and Melissa told me that you said the name. And she's like, Mai, I talked to you today? Well, no, that's the whole thing. You never talk to me. We've never had a relationship in this game. We've never talked. We never did anything in this game. And that's why I think that you're the traitor. You threw Fierce under the bus. You threw Kevin under the bus. So I think you're the traitor. She's like, but what does this have to do with me supposedly saying Mike's name? When did I say Mike's name? Oh, well, I'm just saying.
Melissa said, did she say Melissa said or
Well,
insinuated
not
Melissa
that
told
point.
her?
And
Oh,
then
okay.
then she goes to Melissa and she's like, Melissa, I said Mike's name. Yes, you did. And she's like, I don't remember saying yes, Mike was a traitor to you at all. Yes, you did. I'm telling you, you did, Mike. I'm telling you, she did. And May, and he's like to May, so she said to you directly and said to Melissa directly. Oh well, no, May. Oh well, no, she said to Melissa, and Melissa told me that she said it to Melissa.
Right. A whole bunch of hearsay. And my thing with Melissa is she couldn't give any context to anything. She couldn't
Mm-mm,
give any of the reasoning Kuzi would have said Mike's name. And
mm-mm,
that just looked horrible in my opinion. I think that did not help her tonight. Because
no.
she couldn't provide any context. That's why Kuzi kept saying, but what was the reason? But what was the reason? There was no reason. So Kuzi didn't say it. That's what she's
Yeah,
saying. And
yeah.
Melissa could provide zero context. It looked horrible, horrible, horrible for her.
It did. It was sad because I think up until then Melissa was playing a really good game. But this vendetta against Kuzi that her and May came up with was, I think, just an absolute downfall. And we do see that Trayvon gets very emotional about it because he then begins to suspect, because there was no context in her conversations and why she was doing some of the things
Yeah.
that she was doing. Even Trayvon, who we know was like Melissa's number two, was basically like, I think Melissa might be the traitor at this point because where's the information, like where, like you've been able to give context for everything prior to this, but all of a
Hmm.
sudden we're turning on Kuzi, which I have no problem with, but give context so that I can give my reason so I can get her out.
Right. Yep.
And
Yep.
my
Exactly.
opinion, they should have saved it to later. I think if they hadn't done, I think if they hadn't gone so hard on Kuzi and saved it for later and banished somebody else, they could have developed the evidence to then actually go after Kuzi. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, that's where they went to. They didn't have
Mhm.
any evidence but their gut, and That's not enough evidence.
Yeah, I want something concrete.
Right.
However, however silly I feel that is, because there's nothing telling in this game to me anyway. But yeah, unless you got something that I could rest my hat on, I don't want to hear it. I need more than a gut check, a gut feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I feel like while Kusi did get upset, her and May went at it. I do feel like they played this round good, right? Because not only
Who
did
is
they
they? The traitors?
the traitors,
Oh.
right?
Hmm.
Because they did murder the person on death row, and then they banished the other person on death row, which is the two people that they needed to get out. So all three people that they had on death row were gone within the the the, the week. So they did play it well. I just I can't even get upset at Kuzi for getting upset because like I understand being upset at bad gameplay. Like come on now. Like okay, yes, I'm a traitor. Come and get me, but like actually do it properly. Like it's offensive for you to just be making up stuff in order to get me out and then it doesn't work. Um and I loved when she was like to May, thank God you and I don't talk.
Yeah, those two are just oil and water, like period, point blank.
Yeah.
Some people are just not going to get along.
So we do see like Trayvon does vote for against
Mike.
Melissa A. He
Oh, he's
voted
voting for
against Melissa
myself. This is
A.
the next vote. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah. He because he was like, I hope I'm wrong. Um, but I don't think I am. And he was
right.
again. There's like his no, there's like her number two person voting against her. It was crazy. So we do see she goes 7-2 banishment, and she's like, I'm faithful, which we knew, but
Yeah.
they didn't get it.
Dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. Melissa did say she was like they're all terrible faithfuls. They don't know what they're doing. She's like she tried to tell them who the traitors were, and I get it. I do feel like she has had suspect. I just feel like it's the way she went about her gameplay. I just think it made it hard for people to listen to her.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she has this beautiful like white hair right now that she looks so cute. So if you see her
Melissa?
interviews, yeah, 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 yeah.
White?
Yeah, it's like let me see if I have can pull up the picture. She looks so pretty.
Hmm.
And so she, I will say I've gained a lot of respect for Melissa after the show more than I did on the show. I wasn't really necessarily a fan of her gameplay during the show, but I do appreciate her gameplay after this. I mean her comments and stuff after the show. So yeah, she she seems like a cool person.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really get to. Oh, and you know what? I think I did see her. And it kind
Yeah,
of let me show me.
yeah,
But yeah, I see it. Okay, that's not what I expected. It does look nice.
yeah, it does. And so that's the tale of Melissa. I felt bad, but I also Trayvon was destroyed after this, like thoroughly destroyed.
On social
And
media, you mean?
no, just he just
You mean sad?
no. He this man was bugging out after he was throwing things.
Listen, he is so. I know when he threw that, I was like, oh, come on. But I'm rooting for him because
Mm,
he stuck to his laurels even when it was wrong. He and Gerline are who I would like to see win this because
mm-hmm.
Trayvon's reads currently are good if he can
But
just get
I was
people
like, not.
behind him.
I said, not Trayvon figuring it out. Damn. Listen. I ultimately, if I think Kuzi might have saved him because if they had, we're gonna see next that they had a choice to murder either him or Mai, and if she had just went along and forced a Trayvon vote to murder,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think she would have been in the position she had at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We can never know, but
I
I
think it
think
put more eyes
more
on
the
her.
suspicion would have went the other way. You know what I mean? More. We don't know
Yes.
that for sure, but that's what I'm thinking, that more of the suspicion would have went the other way. So let's get
Yeah.
into the next episode.
Yeah. Like he was like Mai was her shield.
Hmm.
And um
But 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 Mai could have made some. There's like Mai could have made some traction in her arguments. Do you know what
right.
I mean? She
Absolutely.
wasn't bad at arguing her point. She was very passionate, and I think that that was the fear.
Yeah,
You
but I
know.
think also people suspected my being a traitor more than they suspected Kuzi.
I don't know about that. I think that they would suspect Mai over Trevon. Because if I were looking at the two, I would be more scared of Mai over Trevon as being a potential traitor. So that's when I'm banishing that is another thing that I would try to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That who can I get people to rally behind? If you said to me, Janelle, I think Trevon is a traitor, I'm like, no. No. You know what I mean? Like I would not get behind that. But if you said Mai, I would think like she's pushing, like when she has something in her sights, like she
Mm-hmm.
does not stop. So I would be more at, I would think Mai would be more of a traitor than Trevon. But, you know.
Mm-hmm. So we do see the next episode, because he does say killing Mai, she's being looked at, and Mike says if they kill Trayvon, he's being looked at and he's cooked. And
Mhm.
so
We did
we
not
don't
see a
know.
lot of that conversation,
Yeah, I was gonna
which
say
is
we
very
don't know.
upsetting
Yeah, we don't know how the
because
decision was chosen.
listen, I know how the decision in my mind, I know how the decision was chosen to murder Mai. That's what's going to happen at the beginning of this episode.
Hmm.
I feel like Mike had it in his mind, like he was enacting his plan. And
Hmm.
that's why I feel like we didn't see a lot of that conversation, because I bet if we had, he is pushing for Mai to be murdered because he knows where that is going to point that gun at. And it's
Hmm.
not him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
In my mind, that is what happened. We did not see a lot of that conversation. I'm dying to know what we didn't see. I don't think Kuzi did any exit press, but she said she was sick. I saw somewhere along the way she said she wasn't feeling well, and that's why she didn't do it. But to me, he pushed for Mai to go so that he could point the gun at her, and she should have never let that happen. She should have never. That
Yeah.
is her fatal mistake. And I'll talk about a few other things I think that could have shifted her fate a
Hmm.
lot as we go, but that is the first one, and I think that that was him putting that bullet in that chamber right
Yeah.
there.
If
And
if
I hate it. Like, and
yeah,
I
I
hate
mean, yeah, I can't even give him. I don't give him any credit. To be fair,
it.
these people are not smart.
I mean, I'm just like, if it had, and I'm fully admitting, when I like somebody,
Hmm.
whoever goes against them, I'm just not going to like you. I have nothing against Mike as a person. I don't know him, don't follow
Hmm.
him. You know what I mean? But if it had, roles had been reversed with this episode, I'd been like, and I know it, I would be happy. I just don't like this, how this all plays. I don't want to keep talking. So let's go down the episode or I'll go on a tangent.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they decide to murder Mai, and um, it. There's even a conversation at the breakfast table. Just eyes start looking at Kuzi, and Kuzi does say, because even he says Mike is like, if like Kuzi, if you can get out of this, you're the
You're a
ultimate
magician. Yes.
magician.
Yes.
Um, he does also say, Kuzi does say basically, this is it, faithful. Catch me if you can.
I
This,
knew it right there. I was like, oh,
but the thing is, it wasn't cocky. It
it
wasn't.
wasn't. But you know how they do that in these episodes. It wasn't
Mhm,
cocky. I wasn't mad at what she said. It's
mhm,
the fact that they put it in the edit makes
mhm.
me like, oh man, like you know what I mean?
It
Like they
was
always do that.
literally, this was the time to catch her. This, and if they didn't catch her, they were never going to catch her.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, Maya is murdered. Eyes do start focusing on Kuzi. Um, and really, Mike immediately starts throwing Kuzi under the bus. And that's the most
Again.
frustrating thing for me. I know it's part of the game, but I just Kuzi was so loyal to him, and
That's
I
why it's
think,
frustrating.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's because she thought that she needed somebody in this with her,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing she could recruit somebody, and maybe it would have worked out.
Yeah. Yes, that's for me, it was frustrating. Like I'm gonna get it. You're gonna make me get ahead of the ball because, like you said, she's so loyal to him. She's always dancing around his name and trying to gently pitch it. And she
Mhm,
wants him to. She wants him to go another round with her, and
mhm,
has always been loyal to him. So
mhm,
watching it, it's just like super annoying to your soul
mhm,
when you watch one player be loyal and the other one. I
mhm,
mean, it's a game. He wants the money for himself.
mhm,
I don't like it, but like I
mhm,
mean, I understand his point. I understand why he's doing what he's doing. It just
mhm.
sucks to watch who you think is superior, has
Yes,
been a better player, has
absolutely.
been loyal to him,
Yeah,
and he just put that knife in and
yeah.
twisted it and twisted
If
it.
he hadn't thrown her under the bus, I don't think we necessarily get here this round.
Agree. They could have, if they would have worked together on something with the
Mhm,
relationships that each of them have, I feel like it would have been fine and they could have gotten whoever they wanted. Truthfully, I feel that way. But he's thinking, I don't know if he's thinking, I don't know if he's seriously suspicious of her. Well, he must be suspicious that she's pitching his name.
yeah, at the end of the prior episode, he does say that, "Oh, so she's been saying my name," and I was like,
Yeah.
"She really wasn't,"
She
but
really wasn't. She was trying to say, like, she has to say his name, but she's absolutely saying it
yeah,
softly as she can. Like later in the episode, it's like someone asks her for Mike, between Mike and someone else. And I'm
right.
like, give her something. But she was just so
Oh, it's
unwilling.
between Mike and Mickey. Who was it? Oh
Yes.
shit! It was girl. Was it
The
Girly?
girl name she was talking to, but I'm not trying to get. But yeah, even at that point, I'm like, Koozie, because but she didn't know. If she had known what, if anybody, any of her allies, I was hoping Gerline would have said, "Hey, Mike is X Y Z." Then Koozie would have been locked and loaded. She was. I'm getting way ahead to make it. Let's go through the episode.
So I mean, really, we're just going to talk about the mission, which
Yeah,
again is another mission that they have done.
I thought it was
Um,
interesting.
yes, the carnival wheel,
Yeah,
which is basically so Corinne randomly chooses three contestants to participate in a disappearing box. The remaining contestants are on the ground and they're answering multiple questions about the contestant in the boxes, and it's basically like, who do you think is the most faithful, who do you think is the most treacherous, who's the liar, who's the this, who's the that,
yeah.
and the most people matching each contestant's answer will then add money to the pot, and each contestant has a balloon as their lifeline, so too many people say their name, the balloons pop, and if they're um, name balloon let's go, then they are vanished and eliminated, and so it's funny because it's done similarly in other, but not the same
Mhm.
in other versions. So
I liked it because I thought that it provided some conversation about how people are feeling about other people, what makes people suspicious, why would you never be on an island with me? Like I
mhm,
thought it caused a lot of conversation and a lot of wheels turning.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I think I might have liked the way they did in the US and UK because I think there was an actual wheel.
Oh, okay. I remember a wheel
Yeah,
somewhat.
like
Okay.
an
Yeah.
actual wheel, whereas this was like in a box and then they drop them.
Dropped. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. Like, I don't know if I like the box, but I like
Oh, okay.
but the questions were the same, right?
Yeah. Oh, it fits the carnival theme.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the only thing. Like, I think I like the wheel better, but I get the point of the, oh, like,
Dropping.
yeah, the dropping. It's a little suspenseful.
Susie was freaking out. She was like, I don't like heights.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that either. And let's see. So we do see that they get 9 thousand out of $12,000. Um, and um, I just it just all started boiling the suspicion on top of Kuzi. It really did.
Yes, it was bad.
And so we do see that they go and they sit down at a dinner.
That was
And
interesting.
yes, and
Yeah.
Corinne gives them an option: go into a banishment tonight, or go straight to a murder. If you catch a traitor during the banishment, you get an additional $10,000. But if you do not get the traitor tonight, you will lose $10,000.
I was like, whoa.
And so,
10,000? It was a lot.
yeah, I said, so, even in your head, the first thought is, if you're a traitor, let's murder. Upper hand. And Kuzi and Mike both had to realize, oh crap, I can't say murder because then that puts
Yes.
suspicion on me.
So when I was watching, I'm like, how can they ever say murder
You can't.
without looking suspicious?
You can't.
Anybody. And I was on another podcast, Shout Silent Podcast, and my friend Katie said, because I was with you, I'm like, nobody's ever going to say murder. Why would they ever? Like, I can't imagine a scenario in which somebody would do that. And I'm trying to remember how she explained it. She said something along the lines of, if I'm Kuzi and I'm seeing that a lot of heat is on me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like, I'm picking murder because I know they ain't going to murder me. And if I go to this round table with you guys are going to banish me.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, that is a way that they could get away with saying it, but that's true. And I did not even think of that. But if Kuzi could have said, look, I know all y'all's eyes are on me. I'm not a traitor. And I feel confident that a traitor's not going to murder me tonight. He's going to murder one of y'all. So let's go. And she
But
could
I
have
don't
stopped
know
it.
if she necessarily knew that all the
Yeah,
eyes
she
were
doesn't
on
have
her.
that information. She had
Yeah,
no idea that these people were
yeah.
against her. But I'm
But I
saying,
do agree. If she knew that information, that
yes,
is how she would. And I think if she knew that information, that is exactly how she would state it.
I feel like if she knew the information, she wouldn't even, she could, if she would have been prepared, if she would
Hmm.
have known what Mike was doing, I
Hmm.
feel like she could have built a case against him stronger than
Yes,
he built against her. She just did
absolutely.
not know. That's
She
the
didn't know.
problem.
That's what I'm
Right. She
saying.
did not know.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. I think that if she had known he was throwing her under the bus, if she had known that the case was being built against her, she would have had all the options to do something about it, but she didn't know because nobody was telling her, because I think they just came into this like, Kuzi's the person we're going after regardless.
Hmm.
And we see it with how everything went down. And that's pretty much how they
Yeah.
they they
Yep.
they were going.
Yeah. So me
um
saying that was just in reference of like me thinking that it was silly to offer murder or banishment because nobody's ever going to say murder. So
mhm,
I was just like
oh,
working
okay.
in my mind. You know what I mean? That's why I
Yeah.
was bringing that up. I know Kuzi didn't know, but if she had, I'm just standing on this ground. If she had gotten whiff of what
Mhm.
Mike was doing, I feel
Mhm.
like she could have reversed that
Yeah,
so easily.
I agree.
Because
um
I don't even like the pitching of Mickey. Like nobody was thinking. Like when she was having later on, we see her have a conversation with Gerline, like you
mhm.
said, and it's
Yeah.
Gerline and Kuzi talking about suspicions of Mike, suspicions
Mhm.
of Mickey,
Mhm.
and right there, she could have sold him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
sold
no, because
Mike.
Darlene said Mike first, and she was like, I would think Mike over Mickey. and
Yeah,
and, and I was like,
go with the
no,
Kuzi.
no, that's not the right person you need to be pointing to.
This episode was just excruciating to watch for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like pissed
I
every.
do think she went out like a G.
She did.
She went out like a G. She went out fighting, and we see that they had everything, and she just took it. Right? Like, that's the part that you see the difference between the banishment the week before and the banishment this week. It's like they have all the evidence. They
It
caught me. They
sucked
caught
watching.
me.
Yeah, but it sucked watching that because
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Mike, just by some things that he said, he was nervous about what he was going to do, and I don't know if he felt great about what he was going to do,
He
but
shouldn't have.
nonetheless, huh?
He shouldn't have. He shouldn't have
I
felt
know,
great.
I know, but nonetheless, he was going to do it. In her face when he was started, I was like,
Mhm,
she would stab you in the face. If she
mhm. And so when she knew going at the round table, because she
right.
didn't know going into it that Mike was pointing all fingers towards her, she went after him with the hammer
And made great points,
and
like
made gate
point
points.
after point. That's what
Yes,
I mean. If she had known, she could have made these points earlier in the
outside.
day.
Hmm.
Yes, and had it in everybody's head, and it would have just been the opposite. Just none of these. And Gerline said online that her and Kuzi had a great relationship, and I was like, why didn't you give her a heads up then, Gerline? But
No, because she knew. She knew. She said it. She said, I think my friends have blinded me." She knew
yeah,
that Kuzi was a traitor, right? Like at that point. But I feel like kind of what Kevin said, like right to the traitor till you can get them out. But I mean, ultimately, I think she would have ultimately always gotten her out. Gerline has been on top of this the entire thing. I hope she wins. I really, really, and truly
oh, me too.
hope
I like
she
Gerline.
wins.
I
Yeah.
was hoping, like, I wish that they would have just recruited her and then
Yes.
banished him, Mike. Like, if Kuzi and Gerline had been a traitor, they would have
Mhm.
been like this, like so
But
unstoppable
they didn't get
together.
a chance to recruit at all. That's the
I
part.
know. Like every time, well, when they decided that they wanted to, that's when here comes her with this twist
Yeah,
that they couldn't. Because
yeah,
that knocked it, was that 2 rounds that made it so they couldn't recruit, right?
yep,
Yeah, I didn't like that. Because that week is they were ready, you
yes,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I am going to continue to say, and I'm like you. If I appreciate somebody gameplay offline, just who they are, I'm always say it, I'm biased towards Kuzi. I think she is one of the best reality TV contestants I have seen in a year. And the
Yeah.
only reason why I'm giving her just within this year is because the other person is Taylor Hale.
Yeah.
and she was my favorite reality TV contestant of last year, other than Suri, which Suri played last year and played this year.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. I just, yeah, same, same, same. Give Kuzi all the flowers. Now, I don't like what Mike did because of who it's against. I fully admit that. It was
Mhm,
hard, it was tough to watch, although this is the game. I hope
mhm.
he goes down in roaring flames. I would
In
not like him to
flames.
win this game. This is all, look, I'm admitting it's full of pettiness. You know,
Yes.
take out my fave. I'm probably not going to root for you. I thought he did a great job. He flipped first. He was quicker at pulling that trigger than she was. And I don't know when she would have or if she would have tried to
Mhm.
pull that trigger on him. I don't know because
I
she was
don't
so
know.
loyal to him, right? But
Yeah.
kudos, like good job, Mike. You got your target out, and I hope it bites you in the behind, some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. Because he did well. Like I can't not say that. I can't give him props for what he did. I just don't like it, and I'm just honest about it. I just, it's the truth. There's no sense in hiding
Well,
it. You know, we all have our favorites.
yeah. I just I'm sad that she got.
Yes,
Sad that it was by Mike.
yes,
I'm happy at least it wasn't by May.
yes. I would rather have it by Mike than May.
Right. I
But
just said that that's the way she went out because I think it just we do this a lot. We find a person and we be loyal to them, and then they bite us in the ass. And I'm upset that that's the way she went out.
yeah,
That's the only thing. If
yeah,
it
loyalty killed her.
otherwise fine.
Yeah,
Otherwise fine.
completely agree. What was May saying online?
Oh, so she was saying that. Oh, let me see if I can find it. I might be able to actually play it because I'm not monetized and I have my computer back. Yay, good things, good things.
I was like,
Let
wow,
me
I'm surprised to hear. Well, maybe I am, and maybe I'm not
hmm
surprised to hear that.
so let me see. Go to my other account. Yeah, so I just and even Kuzi shared it because it wasn't very just very weird the way she was saying it, and it was just it was
Yeah,
kind
you
of
know,
gross. And I
right?
had saw it before Kuzi said anything, and I was like, you know what? I have thoughts and I'm gonna like keep them to myself. But after Kuzi said, I was like, thank you, because I thought it was just me.
There's
Yeah,
going to be a reunion they're going to film.
I don't. Is there? I don't
I don't know.
know.
I'm asking.
I hope so. Oh, here we go. I think it's it here. So it is here. Okay. So let me see if I can share, present, share screen, open system, and Traitors Canada. Hold on. Select the town. Do it. Okay, there we go. Share. Okay. And, oh, it's. Can you hear it? Oh, tab.
Okay, so I think Kuzi, Leroy, and Mickey could be the traitors. Kuzi is a traitor. I was right! I knew it! I hope she gets freaking banished tonight! Oh, I knew it! I told them! I told them! I told them! Mike is a traitor. That's why they had the conversation, and that's why Mike threw Mel A under the bus, and she didn't trust him, but Kuzi was being so sneaky too for saying Mike. Oh, at least I got one right. Oh my god, I knew she's a freaking traitor. She felt the heat on her. She felt I was putting a lot of heat on her. It's just, oh my god. I hope Mike wins. That's all I gotta say. I hope Mike wins.
Yeah, I saw this.
So in her initial one, she said the faithfuls were stupid.
Dear May, by the order of the traitors, you have been murdered. Signed by the traitors. It's because they couldn't manipulate me. I get it. I was pretty strong with my convictions, so yeah. Not surprised. At this point, I hope the traitors win.
I hope the traitors win.
Suck. What am I going to miss from the manor? The wine and conversations, and even though the challenges were quite hard, I found them to be fun because it's like once in a lifetime activities that I'll never get to do back in the real world. My experience was up and down. I learned a lot about myself. I am a kind person, I'm an empathetic person, and I'm an honest person. If I would have done something different, if I would have played this game differently, I wouldn't have been authentically myself.
So initially, it's when
I
she
hope the
finds out
traitors
she's been
win.
murdered. I hope the traitors win. But when she realizes one of the traitors was Kuzi, it's I hope Mike wins. How dare she? What did she do? But do exactly what Mike has done to everybody else and protected his name.
She personally doesn't like Kuzi.
She
That's all.
personally doesn't like Kuzi, and that is
Right.
my problem. And I feel like she is personally not like Kuzi since the beginning, and I just feel like she has treated Kuzi. I don't like how she treats Kuzi.
Yeah.
I don't like how she talks about her. I do not like how May approaches Kuzi, because I think Kuzi hasn't even cared about May that much in
Mhm.
to for May to be the way she is about Kuzi.
Yeah, but I was about to say, unless that fight between them was way worse, which I have a feeling it may have been, but
Okay,
she had this problem since way before,
before,
so it doesn't
that's what I'm
matter.
saying.
It
That's
doesn't
what I'm
matter.
saying. I think that might have been the nail on the coffin,
Hmm.
but I I'm trying to hold back what I think it is, but okay. I don't like how Like, I feel like she tried to pretend like Kuzi was something she wasn't. Not. Oh, you're so soft spoken and you're so calm in emergency. Like trying to make it seem like that's not who Kuzi is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we both know that that's how Kuzi is.
Until you
She
get her
doesn't
going, though.
until you get her going. She does not. It's the opposite. I think she tried to portray it as Kuzi is boisterous and loud and this, and she is calm and composed in this situation because that is how she's playing the game. Rather than
Mm-hmm.
we know that Kuzi is brilliant, strategic, calm, and confident, and that unless you are lying, going after her for no reason, then she's going after you.
Yeah, if you get her going, she's going to be going, and I'm
Yes,
sure you will regret it after
yes,
you get her going.
exactly. And
Yeah, I like her.
everybody has done it that's done it because it wasn't with just my. Remember, she did it. Was it the week before with somebody else? I forget who.
Susie or mine?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
2 weeks before. Whoever confronted her, the oh Melissa, right, Melissa,
Yes, 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 yes. But like get her going, and then she's going to stand her ground and
right,
probably say something to you that you don't like.
right.
If you poke the bear. I don't know, but I like her. I like her energy. I like how she fights for herself. I like how she stands up for herself. I like her comebacks. Like I like it. I have fun. She reminds me of Aika. I need you to watch that season, but she reminds me of Aika. But like maybe a
That
little
time in the off
nicer.
season.
I know, but they took it off of Paramount too, so I'm really upset.
Oh.
They took. I was watching five. I was watching that season
Mhm.
five of BB Can, and I went to go put it back on, and there's none on Paramount anymore. Even
Hmm.
the other, there was like an Australian version that's gone.
Hmm. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with these streaming services. I will say, I Kuzi does make her points about Mike, and then they had to vote, and they all had to choose. And Trayvon has been insistent that it was Mike, and so he does vote Mike.
Mike. Yep. They
Um,
would have gotten a traitor either freaking way. That's
yes,
what's so disappointing. Like,
yes.
and then Kuzi could have been
Um,
like, "See, I told you it wasn't me."
Yeah. And
Like,
then she said that in her one of her exit interviews that the ones for Traders Canada, that she thinks they just came in there with a plan and that
who said this?
Kuzi.
Kuzi? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't see any of her exit press.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you go in the Traders, what I just showed you, she talks
Like
about.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with her. I think they marched in there because of Mike with a plan to vote for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And even though she made solid,
Yes.
plausible,
That's what she said. She's like,
factual,
I feel like I made all the right points, but they came in there
yes,
already with a plan that I didn't know about, that I couldn't get out of, and
yeah,
that was it. And she's like, so ultimately I hope Mike loses, right? Because
right.
at the end of the day she was loyal to him, and he he made sure she was banished. So I get it, but she does write Mike on her board.
Exclamation mark.
Mike, 1, 2,
2, 3.
3.
And it got
And
wheels turning, and I need those wheels to keep on turning,
yes,
Trayvon.
yes,
Please.
yes. And so if you don't get it, she put 3 exclamation marks, meaning Mike is the third traitor.
Mhm. I wonder
And
if they're gonna
I
stop people from
loved
doing
it.
that. Me too. I was like, get them.
Yeah. And I mean, because we've seen on other episodes, seen on other versions, there's been people throwing people under the bus. There's been like in the UK, that is how the faithfuls won, because somebody literally put the person's name out there. He's like, I'm gonna give you a prize. And he
Mhm.
wrote the person's name down.
And put it on, and that's how he vote. What
He was getting banished anyway, and the person had thrown him under the bus.
was a
And he
traitor?
said, yes. And he said, I'm gonna give you guys a going away present.
Are they allowed to do that?
We don't know, because people were pissed. They were pissed.
That he
And
did that?
he did that.
They were
And
pissed that he said, "I'm going to give you guys a present." I
yes,
think maybe. What do you think? Do you think that's pushing it, Or maybe, but see, I would be the one, like, okay, if Kuzi did it and it got Mike banished, I'd be like, it's fine. Like, Kuzi.
I mean, I kind of got it. I kind of understood. Like like at that point, the person's name had already been out there. It's not like he put his name out there.
Okay.
It,
Yeah.
it's not like but the people that were left were this person's faithfuls. So if you watch the show, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like in this, Kuzi's idea of and Kevin's idea of bringing the faithfuls with you to the end that won't banish you out, that's
Yeah.
exactly how Suri played the game. She
Yeah.
brought the faithfuls to the end that would never think that she was a
A
traitor.
traitor. Mm-hmm.
This person did the exact same thing. He brought the people to the end. He brought one shield and two other people to the end that would never have thought that he, like, basically he was playing the game with. Basically, like,
Mm.
if Gerline and Leroy had stayed faithful to Kuzi and brought
Mm-hmm.
them to the end
Mm-hmm.
and won, that's how she would have won the game.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
person did that. And so he basically threw him under the bus, and he basically had to throw him under the bus. And so the words mattered.
Yes.
Kuzi didn't say the words, but she still was able to give them the clue.
Right.
So I don't think it's against the game to give them a clue.
Right. I'm sure if it was, they would have, I don't know, they would have done something, or I don't know what, but I'm just hoping that little tip sticks. And let's get into the next episode, because I want to talk about what happens at the end of that episode, what Gerline and her little crew were saying.
Yeah. So my notes closed because I was I was flipping back and forth. But yeah, so I love that it got Trayvon's little wheels turning. I was like,
It
"That's
does.
Trayvon, get it!" Yes, I'm proud of him because woo, it never, like, when we saw Cerise season, it never got her faithfuls turn. Like, they knew for sure she was not a traitor.
And I think she had so many people rocking with her, like Stephanie and Rachel, people that knew her
Yeah,
before. Yeah.
yeah. So they do celebrate, and wait. We did so to Kate Kuzi's car. She gave the greatest speech, and I just loved her speech. She's like, "All right, guys, yeah, I feel like I've been killing it in this game."
Literally.
She's like, "Literally, I've been killing it in this game, and you guys just won $10,000." I was like, "Oh my
Yes.
god, I love it!" This is what she brings to the table that nobody else. Like, I don't think the producers wrote that for her. She came up
No.
with that on the spot, and
Yes.
that is the difference with watching a Kuzi play, whether she's playing a bad guy or she's playing the person you're rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
It's just beautiful to watch, and I am so sad to see her go.
I was so sad to see Mike celebrate. That's just what I'm just like, oh, don't ever watch me on the podcast. I ride for my favorites to the end. Like, that's all. I just need Mike to go down in flames.
Oh my god.
So this was my first time. This next episode was my first time watching a recruitment. So I was
Okay.
excited. Yeah.
So they do celebrate, and we see that Mike thinks that he's in a great position,
Yes, he does.
and I was annoyed. and then they said the red theory is finally put to bed, and it's like, I don't, I'm this fucking red theory. Finally, well, at least we don't have to hear it no more. Okay.
Right. If they're really off of it, I don't believe it just yet.
Yeah. And so Mike thinks he's in an incredible position, and he now, Corinne says, recruit another traitor, but you've got to do it by blackmail or that person be murdered. And so we do see, we have seen a recruitment before
Mm-hmm.
on other versions. This is the first time that it's gotten shown on this show. So in other recruitments, yes, it's always the same thing. You either recruited by blackmail or you're murdered. So we saw Ari, that happened to him in season, in the US season, but he was recruited by two traitors. And then him and Suri had to basically throw one of those traitors under the bus because that person was just bad. He was just not good. He was talking too much. It was so bad. And to be fair, Ari could have threw Sari under the bus when
Mm-hmm.
he got thrown out, and he didn't. So there's that. So
Okay.
I'm giving a lot of U.S. spoilers. So it, only in the UK we saw that at the end, what the last trader that go out before the final trader was did throw them under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great.
so we do see he decides that to
Mickey.
recruit Mickey
I was shocked. Why?
because he's easy to throw under the bus.
Well, yeah, but I didn't. I don't. From some things that he said in the episode, I don't think that that was his initial plan. At least not tonight. Did you?
I think his plan was to recruit. I don't think he probably would have necessarily chosen Leroy, but the way the game was going, if he killed Trayvon, they would know it's him. Leroy is his shield,
Yeah,
right?
I know, but I'm just surprised he picked. You mean don't pick Trayvon? I'm surprised he picked Leroy, and I'm wondering
You surprised he
how
didn't pick Leroy?
intentional. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm surprised he picked Mickey, and I'm wondering how intentional that was. Did he plan to pick him and immediately do what he did the previous week,
Hmm.
or what swapped him to do that? If that was not his plan, I'm not trying to give him that much credit that that was his whole plan,
I
because I
think
feel like
that
those people are going to be like they got two in a row. They're gonna calm down a little bit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like it.
he chose Mickey because he knew that at whatever point he could throw him under the bus. I don't
Tonight
think
just
he
happened
would
to be
have
the
been
point.
able to throw Leroy under the bus. You
Mm,
see, even at the end of this episode, he's not able to really throw Leroy under the bus
yeah,
because A, he's working with him, and B,
I don't
even
think people
like
would listen.
nobody's like really listening.
I think that Donna would side with Leroy and Gerline would side with Leroy.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
he starts throwing, if he Mike starts throwing Leroy under the bus. Now it's different
yeah,
if they start throwing him under the bus and
right.
you agree, but I don't think he would be able to do what he did with Mickey. He like immediately can throw suspicion on Mickey with no problem.
Yeah, but like Kuzi made all the same points about him last week.
Yeah, which is why they need to listen, but they're still like anyway. So let's wrap this up because it's got like 10 minutes till my movie starts. But two guests are oh wait, sorry. So Mickey does come to Trader's Tower and
Shocked.
he's told that you are oh, because he thinks it's Leroy. He thinks it's
Mm-hmm.
Leroy when he gets
Mm-hmm.
recruited, and he's shocked that it's Mike. Which I'm not shocked that
He's shocked.
Mickey thinks that it's not Mike. I
Right.
mean I don't think he has been in the game at all. But that's
Listen, in this episode, he looked horrible.
yeah,
I'm like, go ahead.
yeah. Um, I don't know what he was doing at the end of the day. I don't know. But you know he is shocked at this Mike, but he's told join me or die. He's like, okay, I guess I'm joining you. So they come up with a plan and they go into breakfast and it looks like that what's her name? Corinne kidnaps Gerline and Trayvon and they're taken inside a fort and the remaining players at the breakfast table follow Corinne to the fort and they have to rescue the taken players with keys and from 15 wanted pluses. Now, this was a new one. I don't remember seeing this in any other
Version.
version.
Let me say, at the breakfast table, it seemed like there was some circling suspicion about Mickey already.
Yes, because he's
Yeah.
quiet.
So, right. Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. I don't think it wasn't ever not going to be Mickey. I
Right.
just think that maybe he was going to try to hold on to him to throw him under the bus at the end,
Yeah.
but he couldn't hold on to
Yeah.
maybe banish Trayvon or banish Donna, but then throw Mickey under the bus. Then they got all the traitors, but he couldn't do that. That's what
Right.
I'm saying.
Yep.
And so they are using catapults to deliver the keys inside the fort. The taken players will use it to unlock one of the locks, which light up bulbs outside the fort to indicate the locks have been opened. In order to find the correct key, the insiders will describe one word on the wanted posters based on their features, hairstyles, or accessories. This sounds similar to one that we watched on the mole. They
No.
they they will send the word to the outsiders using Morse code communication to interpret the word, and inside the insiders receive does not open the box. They will send another keyword to narrow it down, and insiders manage to unlock all three locks and escape within 30 minutes. So the group earned $1,000 for each key that was left on the wanted poster, meaning the maximum amount of the word could be up to 12,000 by only choosing three correct keys successfully, and they earn 11,000 out of the 12,000.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the mission overall?
Meh.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't like, I don't know. It was just very meh. Like hard to. It didn't hold my attention really. I
Yeah,
liked others better than this.
yeah. Definitely a new challenge that I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily have to keep it. So we do see that Trayvon figured out, based on Cluzy's little clue, that Mike is the traitor.
He was like, I think she was giving us a clue. And I was glad that he was vocal about that to other people. I
Yes,
just need him to keep
on
plugging
it,
away at that.
on it.
Do
Yeah,
not let that go, Trayvon. People
yeah,
don't seem to listen to him though, but I still need him to keep
yeah.
trying.
And so, um, he said even he even says to Leroy, like, the fact that they were going after each other. He's like, it's like traitors going against traitors, and he was so right. He
He
had
had it
figured it
spot
out.
on. Yes,
Yes,
spot
yes,
on. I was surprised. I was like,
yes. I was
finally.
like, finally, I'm so proud of you, Trayvon. Whatever happens, I'm proud of Trayvon, just for the end of this episode, right? Because he did his job. Um, and so we do see Gerline and Leroy after this conversation with Trayvon. Gerline and Leroy have had conversations with Mickey, and they're asking him what is going on. Like, what do you think is going on? Who do you think is traitor? And he's like deflecting or not answering. And now they're super suspicious. They were suspicious from breakfast room. They were
Mhm.
suspicious before that, but they have been able to have conversations with Mickey and get information out of him. All of a sudden, all information flows down.
He was terrible. Like
Yeah.
that conversation with Leroy, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like when he was like, you tell me who you think it is and your thoughts on who's a traitor, and I'll go along with it. What? I was just like, Mickey. I don't know where they found him,
Yeah.
but this is not for him. Just it's just not for
Amazing
him.
Race Canada. Um,
I
and
wonder how
so
good he did.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, what do you what? Oh, okay, go ahead.
So they Gerline and Leroy basically get it. He's a traitor, and they feel like he was recruited as a traitor. His entire manner has changed. Everything has changed for him. That, like, they can just spot that he's a different person, and they just have decided, yeah, no, he is the traitor. That probably was recruited, and so um they want to know what the well Gerling basically says, okay, I think Mike's a traitor, but do we handle Mike now, or do we hold off and go after I don't trust Mickey, but it
Yeah.
also could be Donna, but I don't trust Mickey. He just totally is switched up, and Leroy and her basically realize, because Donna is probably gonna go after Leroy. She doesn't trust Leroy, and uh, Mickey is not giving them information, so he might go after Leroy, and
Mm-hmm.
they know Trayvon's gonna go after Mike. So either
Mm-hmm.
way, it's gonna be a split vote because it could be 2-2. They just need to pick who's the two,
Yeah.
and they're like, we're writing this together. Basically, this is their alliance. Everybody else that they were working with is gone. This is their alliance. Who are they, like, going after? And they decide they're going to go after Mickey, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so we do see, almost off the bat at the round table, Mike throws Mickey under the bus. And then they start questioning Trayvon, like, why didn't he vote for Kuzi if he knew Kuzi was the traitor? He's like, because we already had all the votes for Kuzi. I want us to keep our eyes on Mike.
Right. Yes. Come on, Trayvon.
Right. And so I'm hiding behind Mike, like he's the traitor. Go after him now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not listening to him. And Gerline does make a good point. She knows that there's an OG traitor in the room.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like it's best if they go after the blackmailed, the recruited, the newest traitor.
Right.
And so we do see the votes at Mickey, because they confront Mickey and he gives them absolutely nothing.
Nothing. So bad.
And I don't even know what he wrote on his board. He was just like crossing out stuff.
Me neither. I'm like, what's on your board? He should have voted for Mike and put another 3 explanation board. That would have, like, come on, Mickey.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe then the show was like, you can't do that.
Maybe. That's maybe.
Or he didn't realize the votes were all on him. I don't know, but he just.
That's possible too with that man.
Yeah, just ugh. So Mickey chooses Leroy. Trayvon still with his Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Gerline chooses Mickey. Mike chooses Mickey. Leroy chooses Mickey, and Donna chooses Mike. And so Mickey is vanished 3-2. About 3-1, because
Yes.
it was a split vote. And we see Mike saying he basically had to do what he had to do, and he it is what it is, and they celebrate. And we do see him sit down with Donna, and Donna's bowing down to him. I'm so sorry, through your name. Trayvon is upset because he's like, he's doing this wrong, but we're like, no, Trayvon, you're finally right. Stay on it. Well, although he's been right, he's been on Mike for a while, but
he has and hasn't wavered.
Yes. We do see though, like Leroy and Gerline talking, and Leroy is still like, let's work with Mike at first, and I was like, no.
Gerline's on the right path, because she ends up saying we're going to stick together and we'll get Mike at the next one. I need them to stick to. I'm going to rip my hair out if they don't stick to this. I need him to go down in roaring flames. I would not like him to win this game at all. I would much rather see Gerline take it all. I wish she had been a traitor, because I think she would have been good at it.
She would have been a good traitor.
Like her and Kuzi, to me, would have been unstoppable.
Yeah, I agree. I do feel like so usually what happens at the end is there is another banishment, and then they go to, I think we talked about this, there's a fire pit, and you have to choose if you're going to keep banishing to catch a traitor, or you're going to trust whoever's at the fire pit that they are not a traitor, and you're going to be so I don't know how they're going to do it, because in Australia they just do a round table for a banishment, and they don't do the fire pit, whereas USA, UK do the fire pit, and there's like colored bags and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but that is usually what happens. So I think the plan sounds like going into this is that they're going to either banish Donna or Trayvon, which would suck. Yes. But I think Leroy and Girly want to go after Donna, because they don't feel like she deserves to win. And I kind of agree. I don't think she's been a good player.
She goes with whatever opinions in front of her.
Yes. Yeah. And then get out Mike at the end. And I like it. Please. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
We gotta hurry. You gotta go. But I feel like since they told us the plan, that's not what's gonna happen. Like, that's what I feel.
I agree. That's what's the unfortunate. So yes, I'm afraid that that's not what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be very upset if that's
especially since they told us.
Yes. So tomorrow I'll be live tweeting Traitors Canada. I'm gonna watch it live, and then we will come back maybe Tuesday. Wednesday, something like that, to recap the finale. Guys, I have loved this season. I'm sad that Kuzi is not in the end, but it's still been a great season, but mostly because of her. Thank you for joining us. Janelle, tell them where they can find you.
Same as always, guys. I'm Janelle Michaud on absolutely everything: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you see my name, that's me.
And as always, you can find me on Entertainment in Color everywhere. I am about to go chit chat about a Christmas movie called A Christmas with a Kiss on the Hallmark Channel. It is a cast full of Black men and women, which I'm always down for, especially on the Hallmark Channel. They're few and far between, but it is the Hallmark Mahogany line. I also will be on Reality Realness next week, chit chatting about the final episode of Bachelor in Paradise. We just wrapped up. If you missed it, Golden Bachelor, our recap of Golden Bachelor is on my channel, so go check that out. And that is it right now. I'm gonna try to see if I can do a couple of recaps for Twin Love from Amazon Prime, and we will see coming. I don't know. Should we cover Reindeer Games?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I was only saying, you know why? Yeah, but I don't want to either.
I do
Um.
not want to be forced to watch that if I hate the cast. We
Yeah.
don't even
Pretty
have
much.
a cast yet. Ask me once they have a cast.
Right. And then I think that's kind of it until Love Island All Stars comes out. I'll see if I like the cast there either and whether or not I'll be covering it. So otherwise, guys, enjoy your night and enjoy your week. But we will be back hopefully Tuesday to recap the finale and enjoy
Yes.
the finale. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.